All right, thanks, April. Today on Capitol Hill, House lawmakers will take up a vote on repealing President Trump's national emergency declaration.
Yeah, it's expected to pass the House, but face an uphill battle in the Senate. President Trump declared a national emergency this month after Congress passed a bipartisan funding bill that did not give him all the money he wants to pay for a border wall. Democrats have said the declaration is unconstitutional.
We ask all members of Congress to respect the rule of law with us, to respect the separation of powers enshrined in our Constitution, and to support this resolution. If the President is successful in getting his way on this, rest assured he will come back. He will try this again, probably on other issues, as will future presidents.
At least one Republican lawmaker says he will vote against President Trump's declaration. North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis says while he favors border security, he is concerned that President Trump has overreached with declaration.
The CDC is launching a plan that it believes will reduce new HIV infections by 75% within the next 5 years.
Good news there, and there are plans in work to help those communities with the highest risk of HIV. Megan Key is live at University Medical Center, one of many locations around the city where you can go for HIV testing. Megan, talk about this plan for us, please.
Yeah, Duke and Sheba, the CDC, well, they're focusing on 4 different strategies.
All right, thank you, Megan. Here's a look at some of the stories you need to be aware of this morning. An EPA official says that St. John residents are not likely to get the federally mandated limit on emissions from a Laplace chemical plant that they are asking for. Last week, an EPA representative met with residents and environmental activists about the Dinka plant. Our partners at the New Orleans Advocate say the EPA told them it wasn't in the process of creating a federal limit on chloroquine emissions. Back in 2015, chloroquine was classified as a likely carcinogen. The Dinka plant is currently the focus of a number of lawsuits, with residents claiming it made them sick. The facility has reduced its chloroquine emissions by more than 85% in the past year, but its emissions are still below the level deemed safe by the EPA. A former St. Tammany Parish District Attorney Walter Reed is expected to be back in federal court today. Prosecutors are asking a judge to set a date for Reed to start serving a 4-year sentence on corruption charges. Reed was convicted in 2016 of several charges, including mail fraud. He has been allowed to remain free on bond until he has exhausted all of his appeals. Today, President Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen, is expected to undergo more than 10 hours of questioning by the Senate Intelligence Committee. Investigators plan to ask Cohen questions concerning the Trump Tower project in Moscow and whether the president directed him to lie to Congress. Cohen is also set to start his 3-year prison sentence in May for financial crimes during the 2016 presidential election. And you can keep up with us and all of our headlines online at WWLTV.com or on our Facebook and Twitter. And be sure to download the WWL-TV mobile app. It's free and in your app store. Well, David, I was out there on Bourbon Street this morning. It seemed a little bit chilly out there, maybe 57 degrees-ish, but
Ish? Is that what you think? Ish?
Wait, that's not an
ish?
estimate at all. 57-ish?
Well, let's see here.
What?
Duke, it is currently 57. Yeah, there we go here in town. How about that? Well, this morning, we're one of the warmer spots. We should have sent Duke to Hammond. It's 46 degrees up there. Kind of cold for there. 51 inside out, 55 degrees.
Alrighty, thank you, April. It is one festival where you live your best life, where you get empowered, all about uplifting women.
You know it. Essence Festival.
That's right, and officials have put up the finishing touches on that fest. So coming up, we're going to tell you what performers will be hitting the stage for the music event.
All right.
And I tell you what, gang, 2 things you need for great fried chicken. You want your...
To start our morning, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Eyewitness Morning News on this Tuesday, February 26th. You've noticed a change in anchors. Leslie and Eric are both feeling under the weather today, so Duke has swooped in to save the day. Thanks for hanging out, and you're hanging out on Fats Domino's birthday.
Yeah, today would have been his 91st birthday. I know Eric's a good friend of Fats Domino. We've done many stories when he passed away, an icon here in New Orleans, so of course,
Certainly.
this is a good day.
We got to pay tribute and wish him happy birthday. Now to our trending story this morning, Duke. Celebrity comedian Amy Schumer. We've been talking about her because she's in New Orleans.
Okay.
She's still here, and over the weekend made a stop at the world-famous Audubon Zoo. The pregnant actress and her husband had a little adventure. They fed the giraffes, so here's the Instagram video.
Just a reminder, there is 1 carrot per person and there is no touching or petting, please.
This is one of my favorite things to do at the zoo. Have you fed the giraffes?
I've never fed a giraffe.
I actually did this recently, and the tongue does come at you just like that, like a fruit roll-up.
No, thank you.
Comes
Bless your
right
heart.
on out. And this outing came after Schumer announced that she actually had to cancel the rest of her tour because of complications with her pregnancy. So we are sorry to hear that. But it looks like she's enjoying her time in New Orleans. This is apparently last week that she posted those videos when she joined 2 different Mardi Gras parades practicing at Audubon Park in New Orleans. Did you see those?
No, I haven't seen anything at all, so it's just amazing.
You would have loved it. She jumped in like she had been practicing with these crews
Oh, really?
for weeks. Yep. And then posted the videos
While
to Instagram.
pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, women, superwoman
She's
now.
a trooper, so we are wishing her the best and enjoy the rest of your time in New Orleans.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's take a look at some of our top stories this morning.
Kim Jong-un has arrived here in Hanoi, Vietnam, ahead of his summit with President Trump. I'm Stephen Portnoy, one of the reporters who was forced to relocate as a result of the North Korean leader's arrival. More coming up.
And it looks like the Tooth Fairy is getting a little more stingy, giving kids a 43% drop in money per tooth.
Listen, I'm not even listening to that story. These children get like $20 a tooth now, Duke.
Oh, really?
So they needed a 43% drop.
Okay.
Wait, I got $1 a tooth back in the day.
I got 5. I'm sorry.
Well, the Duke Carter household, you know what?
I
Thank you.
can't-
Thank you. You need a 43% drop as well. Dave, do you hear this, April?
I got a bucket too.
Yeah, $1 a tooth.
I was lucky if I got some money.
Right. You know?
April, today, family and friends continue to mourn the loss of 36-year-old Julie Couvion, a mother, nurse, and an innocent bystander who was shot and killed while walking on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, it's such a sad story. Police and city leaders have quickly responded with an outpouring of grief for Couvion.
Yeah, WWL-TV exclusively spoke with Mayor Cantrell after this latest shooting on Bourbon Street, and Cantrell said in our interview, one of the hardest phone calls she had to make was calling Couvion's family, specifically her parents, and learned that the victim had a 19-year-old daughter. Now, sadly, this happened early Sunday morning at around 3:15. Couvion was walking on Bourbon after a fun night out when she was hit. Friends say it was a rare night out, and police say the suspect, Louis Barnes, was selling drugs when a guard at Willie's Chicken Shack noticed what he was doing and tried to stop him. That's when the scuffle went down that eventually led to the nurse being shot.
I have expressed not only my condolences to the entire family, but just our ability as a city to just wrap, our arms around the family, not just now, but for the long haul.
Now, Barnes was jailed later Sunday on counts of second-degree murder and attempted second-degree murder.
And we will continue to follow this story. We have continuing coverage on that Bourbon Street shooting on our website, WWLTV.com, our app, and our social media pages.
President Trump lands in Vietnam today for his summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Before leaving Washington yesterday, he was very direct with what he hopes to accomplish, the nuclearization. Stephen Portnoy is in Hanoi with details.